Yo, what is up? We are back with the 10th Cheezy and Mocha podcast. This time we are gonna be going over all the stuff that's been happening in Pandora. Last week we went over Legacy, so this time we're going over Pandora. Should be another fun episode.
Way to get the number right this time.
Right, yeah. I thought it was 8 last time. I was pretty confident.
Oh man. Yeah, so we covered Legacy last week. Get to talk about some Pandora this week. Pandora's been quite the opposite of what Legacy has been. It's been, at least what Nick told me the other day, Pandora has been the check down league, where Legacy, it's the go deep league. We've had a lot of different results. So let's get into it. What conference do you want to start off with?
Let's just start off with the stacked NFC. Everyone was talking about like how the AFC stacked this in Legacy, but I feel like the NFC, just based on the record so far, is more stacked.
Well, okay. The NFC is good, but let's not get it twisted here. The NFC and Pandora would get fucking waxed by the AFC Legacy. Like, it's not even close. I think
You're gonna start up a rivalry between two different conferences and two different leagues.
I'm just stating facts here. Like, the NFC and Pandora is good, but it's not nearly as good as the AFC and Legacy.
You think the 10-0 Carolina Panthers would beat the 10-0 Baltimore Ravens?
How would that work?
It's not really possible because it's both Trey, obviously, but
I would take Baltimore over Carolina 7 days of the week, and that.
Yeah, it is just kind of the better team. So that is, I mean, a little bit of a segue into the top of the NFC, though. Obviously, you got Trey at 10-0 on the Carolina Panthers. At least in Legacy, he has the Baltimore Ravens, who are kind of a juiced-up team, but not really any excuses for the Pandora players. He's got a pretty average, mediocre team. Like, not bad, but mediocre. And he's still just destroying everyone, going 10-0 so far.
Flawless.
What was that?
I said flawless. Flawless.
He's just an unstoppable player right now in both leagues. I was looking at his upcoming schedule, and he only has to face two more teams that even have winning records. So I don't think they're. And it's the Vikings, who's Grady. So they're obviously very familiar with each other. That's probably his toughest game, but he gets the upper hand on Grady almost every time. So, and then the next one is the 6-3 Washington football team, who's now manned by Herbal Gerbil, who haven't seen play. So I'm not really confident in him being able to beat Trey. And I'm pretty sure this is going to be an easy 16-0 season for the Panthers.
I don't see anybody stopping Trey this season. I didn't think he would be able to start off 10-0 with the Carolina Panthers. I thought he'd at least, maybe not struggle, but drop a game here and there. But nobody's beating him. I mean, he took out Cook week 1. It looked close, but he pulled it out in the second half. I mean, he absolutely destroyed Brad. He took out the Falcons, who I thought personally was going to be a playoff contender, but they have been completely non-existent this season. Completely destroyed the Chiefs. It's just, I mean, what do you do?
I don't know if there's anything you can do against Trey. I'm pretty sure we've been over this before. Someone has to knock him off his high horse. I don't know who's gonna do it, but the dude wins too many games. Someone has to step up and beat him.
And I mean, Carolina, they've got some pieces, but I don't think they'll be making the playoffs in the real NFL. I don't think they even have a shot necessarily in that tough ass division. It's crazy to me. 10-0. I mean, I don't even know why we're surprised about this, considering it's Trey. But once again, I mean, you have to give props to him. He's playing his heart out.
Yeah, unstoppable once again. But there is another undefeated team so far. You got Seattle Seahawks, which I don't think anyone expected. Not that Cheeks is a bad player. He made the playoffs, I think, both seasons of Pandora last year, but he definitely wasn't this dominant, being 9-0. And maybe one of the most surprising events is he actually beat Drunk, who's had the upper hand on him pretty much, I think, every matchup they've had, at least last year. And Cheeks beat him, and not just beat him, but beat him by 2 scores.
I mean, Cheeks is he's been running the ball very well. It's been the same story with you as far as running the ball in Legacy. Seems like the Seattle Seahawks are built to run in Madden, which doesn't make sense to me. I don't feel like the Seahawks really run the ball that well in the NFL. I think they're more of a passing team. So it's still a little surprising to me. But nonetheless, he's 9-0. He took out Drunk. I know he had a pick six at the goal line against Grady in overtime. Grady ran an RPO, made the wrong read, and threw a pick six. That was back in week 5. Took out a tough Dallas team. So he's gotten some good wins here. It's not like he's just playing some scrubs. Matchup to look for is week 12 against the Eagles. That should be a good game. He's still got to play Drunk one more time. And he's got that Washington football team week 15, which I think he'll handle just fine. But I mean, Cheeks is one way or another, he's going to find himself in the playoffs here. It's a dangerous team. So props to him. Good start.
Yeah, definitely. I think despite being undefeated going into the game against Drunk, I think defeating Drunk really opened up some eyes for some people maybe still underestimating him, even when he was like probably 8-0 going into that game, I think. But yeah, we got the Philadelphia Eagles, Kylo Ren pulling up, dominating. Well, I shouldn't say dominating. The Cowboys are only 2 games behind, but they are 8-1. The Cowboys are 6-3. They are handling their business in the NFC right now.
I find it hilarious that the team that said the division's gonna run through them is nowhere near.
Wasn't it the Giants?
Yeah,
The guy who
1-9
has the worst record in the league.
He's definitely got the worst record. The worst record in the league right now. 1-9. So that's not a good look for you, buddy. And his division seems to be doing just fine with him at the bottom. 6-3 football team, 6-3 Cowboys, 8-1 Eagles. I mean, the division has ran through anybody but the Giants so far. So I'm still really saddened that Calc is not with that team anymore. I understand why. I hope maybe eventually he returns, but it seems like the user that took over has done a pretty decent job so far. So there is that. He'll be playing Dallas week 12. He's got the 49ers. He's got Trey. He's got the Seahawks and the Eagles. So they actually have a really, really tough schedule going forward. I don't see a wild card appearance for this team, but definitely a good start for the football team so far.
Right. The NFC East is just a conversation in its own. Um, Obviously, like I said, the Eagles 8-1, and then you got Cowboys and Washington 6-3. Um, I'm not exactly sure when the new user for Washington took over, but he's definitely, I think, at least the last 2 weeks, and he's won both those games against relatively, well, the Giants, like we've already clowned on a little bit, and then the 2-7 Lions. So, and both were pretty close games, which isn't quite what you want to see when you're trying to. But uh, he took care of business, and that's all that really matters as long as you get the W in the win column, right?
Exactly. Yeah, a win's a win.
So it seems like there's a good chance potentially three NFC East teams go to the playoffs if Herbal Gerbil can keep going and the Dallas user can keep winning some games. We also got Brad, normally exclusively on the Eagles, on Chicago, and he has adapted very well. 8-2 so far.
Yeah, and you got Grady trailing him by 2 games right there. It's definitely still anybody's division. However, I do think Chicago will probably edge it out here and take the NFC North, but I do see a playoff appearance for Grady. If you actually look at the standings, Grady is, if the playoffs started today, Grady would not make it, which I found surprising until I realized that. Here, let me go to the homepage here. I didn't realize this, but I guess I didn't consider that Drunk is technically a wild card team right now, since Seattle leads the division, and you got Dallas and Washington holding on to the 6 and 7 spot. So Grady, even though he's had a 6-3 start, an ideal start for him, he still needs to win more games here, and he has a I wouldn't say it's an easy ongoing schedule, but it's not too hard. Like, he's got to play Trey.
He's
got
got
to play
Dallas. That's a huge matchup because they're both
Dallas.
6-3 right now. So whoever
Right.
wins that really secures themselves a two-win lead, actually, just because they have the tiebreaker if they tie for a wildcard spot.
Right. So he has Dallas. He has to play Trey, and then he takes on the 8-1 Jaguars. That's another big game right there. It's kind of a sneaker. The Jaguars lead the AFC right now. We'll get to that a little later, but besides that, he's got to play Brad one more time. I think he can take out Brad. If he takes out Brad that Week 15 game, I think his playoff chances really open up. So his 2 big games, I would say, are this upcoming game against Dallas and his Week 15 game against Chicago. I think you can afford to maybe drop the game against Trey, and then see what you can do against the Jaguars. So that's what I'm looking at here.
Yeah, and as far as Chicago, he did narrowly beat Grady in their meeting in Week 10. By 3 points, 32-29 Bears.
Yep.
And then the rest of the Chicago schedule is relatively weak, except they do have to play, obviously, Grady in Week 15. And then the Jaguars, they also have to play the Jaguars in Week 16. So definitely the ending to this season should be exciting for the NFC wildcard.
Do we want to make playoff predictions? Kind of, do you like, or not like, but do you think the way it is right now, do you think it's going to kind of stay that way? Do you think maybe a team that's on the bubble gets in?
I think it's a little bit too clear cut right now, to be honest. I mean, obviously it's early enough that a team like the Bucks, who are 5-5, and another team might stumble down the stretch, and like the Bucks could. I think that's not Mayor anymore, but he keeps swapping between the Pandora and Legacy Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I can't tell what he's doing, which league he's in anymore.
Okay.
But and the Buccaneers could get in, but I feel like it's just kind of, at least as far as like the Daddy League's like standings look right now, it just has the top 7 teams that list are just seem like the ones that are gonna make it. Obviously Washington is 6-3, just like Dallas and Minnesota. I just don't know enough about Herbal Gerbil to be confident in him as a user. Maybe he'll prove me wrong, but I'd have to go Carolina, Seattle, Philadelphia, Chicago, San Francisco, Minnesota, and Dallas for the top 7.
Okay. Any shockers? You know, like, I'm a little surprised that Timbo's 4-5 right now. I had high expectations for him when the season started, and it hasn't been smooth sailing for him so far.
Yeah, he has a tough schedule though. He has to face all the NFC East teams who are all tough, and he has to face his own division. So
right,
it just looks like he's probably just been getting the rough end of the stick in a lot of these. I mean, he only lost to Cheeks by 10 points. He had to play Brad, lost by 17. That's not too close. He lost Drunk, which wasn't too close. So maybe he's just not up to par with a lot of these teams currently. He actually in week 2 he beat the Eagles. Oh wow, he's the Eagles' only defeat.
Yeah, I did see that.
That's pretty cool. That shows he definitely has potential as a user and as a team in Madden right now, but maybe just needs to get a little bit more consistent and be able to compete with his division better.
Well, I'll tell you what. I still think San Francisco is going to win the division. I think Drunk finds a way to pull it out here. I will say that. I think Seattle is going to have that number 1 wild card spot. I think Trey is just going to sit at number 1. He's going to have a first round bye, and he'll be in the playoffs. I think Brad has the division for himself this season. I think the same thing for the Eagles. I think Philly will close it out and win the division. I think Minnesota, I think Grady replaces Washington personally. I just don't see. I know Washington has a really tough schedule going forward, and I don't think he'll be able to win those games, especially with a Washington team. It's not that good of a team. So I do think Minnesota will sneak in there, and I think they'll take the 6th wild card spot, and I think Dallas is the very final seed in the NFC, and they would probably be taking on Drunk in the first round. So that's where I see the playoffs going right now.
You think Cheeks is gonna stumble enough down the stretch? I mean, he already took game 1 off of Drunk, and even assuming that Drunk beats him in week 17, Cheeks has to play the Eagles in 2 weeks.
Yep.
But other than that, I mean, Washington. It seems like Washington has a lot of kind of like important games against a lot of important teams.
Yeah.
It feels like we keep bringing his name up. It seems like it's Herbal Gerbil's chance to show he can compete.
Yeah, he kind of
knock off a lot of top teams.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but yeah, he's got the Eagles. He's got the Week 17 matchup against the Niners. Maybe Timbo can come back and beat Cheeks in Week 16. But other than that, I don't see Cheeks losing to anyone. And Drunk has to play the Cowboys Week 15. Also play Washington in week 14. And then Timbo in week 12. But yeah, I mean, I could see Drunk coming back, but it's just a little bit hard with how well Cheeks has been playing so far.
Right. Yeah. We will see for sure.
Right.
Should be a fun one.
All right. Moving on to the AFC. So right now, with a 2-game lead over anyone else in the AFC, we got Jacksonville at 8-1, kind of just dominating. Looking at the rest of his schedule, he's got you versus the Browns in week 12. He's got Grady in week 13. He's got Tennessee 6-3, week 14. He's got Brad in week 16. Like, he's got a pretty tough schedule going down the stretch.
I'm surprised I did not see an 8-1 start from the Jacksonville Jaguars. I knew the user was good. I just didn't think he was gonna play this well. He's kind of had an easy schedule. If you look at it, he split with the Texans. He beat them once, lost to them the next time. He took out the Chargers. He took out the Packers. He's got to win again over the Bengals. Like, it just doesn't seem like the schedule is relatively hard, and maybe that's.
Wait, who did Timbo beat? I thought he beat the Jaguars.
No, Timbo beat the. What? You mean who did the Jaguars lose to?
Yeah.
They lost to the Texans. Timbo beat the Eagles. That's who you're thinking of.
Oh.
The Eagles, right? One.
Okay, I think I said Jaguars earlier. My bad. I meant Eagles.
No,
then.
you said it correctly.
Or Chicago.
You
oh wait, the Eagles and the. Oh yeah, okay, no, the Eagles and the Jaguars are 8-1. I got them confused. Okay, they're both green. They're both 8-1. Not my fault.
Jesus. I personally thought Tennessee would win this division, and Tennessee's 6-3. It's not like they're playing bad; they're playing really good. It's a tough division. Hawk is good. I think Mike in the near future will be better. I think this is kind of a fluke season for him, especially for that Colts team. So that is a tough division moving forward. But I think Jacksonville will close it out, to say the least. So great job by Kumar. And he will find himself back in the playoffs this season.
And then we got 2 6-3 teams. We got Tennessee, who you just mentioned, and then yourself on the Browns. It doesn't look like anyone in your division's competing too closely. I mean, you've had close games. You had a close week 1 game against the Ravens, and the Steelers beat you in week 6. You had a close game against the Bengals.
But that was a sim win.
Bengals game. Okay, yeah.
That was a sim win. And then I took a sim loss last week to the Texans, which sucks, but it is what it is. I've been playing really poorly in Pandora. I know my record doesn't show it, but I've been playing not so well. At least my defense isn't ranked number 31. It's actually ranked 16, so that's good news for me. My offense sits at 6. Definitely have some improvements that I can make. I actually have a pretty tough schedule, or a tough stretch here. I have to take on Philly. That's going to be happening Tuesday morning. Then I play Jacksonville, and then I play Tennessee. So I have a tough little stretch here. And then I play Baltimore, and then I'll probably get like a couple bye weeks for weeks 15 and 16. You heard me right, Nick. It's a bye week. I'm taking your ass out. No more of this bullshit of fucking 4 defensive touchdowns in the second half. It's not happening. And then I take on Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh beat me, so I'm not going to sleep on them. Baker kind of sold me, but like I said, it is what it is. Got to come out and play better. So yeah, I think I'll make the playoffs. I just don't really know where I'll
slot in.
be placed in the standings.
Yeah. So this is where it's a little bit interesting. There is a lot of middle range teams in the AFC. It's not as clear cut as the NFC. There is 2 5-4 teams, a 5-5 Dolphins team, 4 4-5 teams, and then even a 3-6 Denver Broncos team that could, if they get to 4-6 this week, can still probably have a chance. Like, there's a lot of teams that could still compete here.
And you notice that there is actually a playoff team that has a record of 4-5. That they are currently the 7th seed. That's Cook and the Las Vegas Raiders. I find it very interesting.
Oh my god, yeah, the AFC West is not doing too hot, are they?
Right. I mean, I just find it.
Or no, it's Kansas City's at 5-4.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, like that division, if you look at the standings, it's up for anyone realistically. I mean, Blazing Kane as the 3-6 Broncos at the bottom of the division. Banana Man, he's been okay. He's been playing well. Sully's the Chargers. I mean, this is anyone's division. And I just kind of find it hilarious that the Vegas Raiders have a below 500 record and are still, if the regular season ended today, they would be in the playoffs. That's just kind of funny to me. That doesn't happen much in Madden.
Yeah, assuming that the tiebreakers are like set up, right?
Right. Yep.
And they're listed as the 7 team, tied with 3 other 4-5 teams, but I don't know if Daddy Leagues actually incorporates the tiebreakers.
They do. They do. Yep.
All right.
These are up to date. So it's crazy. I think Kansas City still pulls it out, but the Raiders play Kansas City this week.
That should be a good game.
Yep. So we will see what happens there. If the Raiders win that game, they will be tied at first place with the Chiefs. So definitely a big opportunity here for Cook.
It does not look like the Chiefs user does not play a single team above 500 for the rest of the season.
Oh God. Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, including the Raiders, who are 4-5, but like he's got the 5-5 Bucks, the 3-6 Broncos, the 5-5 Dolphins, the 3-6 Saints, the 2-7 Falcons, the 4-5 Chargers. Yeah, it's seems a little bit like an easy road for the Chiefs here. If he can take care of, I mean, granted he's only 1 game above 500, so it's not like we're talking about an undefeated team against all these scrubs. He's only slightly above them, but
he took a blowout loss to Trey, lost to Denver, lost to the 2-7 Patriots, and then we actually and then he lost week 1 to Hop and the Texans. But we've seen him play. We got to watch his game versus the Baltimore Ravens back in week 3. He has a good offensive game plan. You know, it's very reminiscent to how the Chiefs play in real life. He does a lot of short passes, gets the deep pass set up, and he'll eventually throw it up to Tyreek Hill or Hardman. So it's there. He's just got to win some games here.
Yeah, he definitely has a nice offensive game plan. Like you said, it's pretty methodical. Not exactly what you used to seeing from a Chiefs user, I think.
It's not cheesy, right?
Yeah, normally with the Chiefs user, you'd be like, oh god, he has so many weapons, he's just gonna throw it up to them and they're gonna make all the plays. But it's just he's got a really solid game plan. I'm surprised he's only 5-4 to this point. But another user who's 5-4 right now, the Texans. You got Hop. He makes some really cool graphics. I mean, that's honestly as far as that's like all I know about him. To put it bluntly, I haven't really watched any of his games so far. But yeah. And I was looking at his last 7 games on his schedule, and he has to face 5 2-7 teams.
Yeah. He's got a pretty nice schedule to go from here, and he's got a very good opportunity to find himself in the playoffs. Hop's good. You know, like I know I said I took the sim loss to him, but he was playing me really well. So he's a good user. It's no surprise that he's in this position. I don't think he'll take the division, but I definitely believe that he will be in the playoffs as a wild card team, and that is not a fun game if you're in the first round, and that's who you have to go up against. So, good for Hop.
Alright, you want to make some AFC predictions?
Yeah.
I think this is where it gets interesting. This is where we'll have some definitely different opinions.
It's really hard. It's really hard because I don't know what to expect going forward here. I actually don't really have a set prediction. I think the 1 and 2 seeds stay the same. I think I will stay at number 2. I think Kumar will stay at number 1. And that's how it will be going into the playoffs. I think Kansas City wins the division. Just because it's Kansas City. I would find it very hard to believe that any other team out of that division would win it, at least this season. So I think they stay at number 3. I think Miami. I think Bobby's Miami, right?
Yeah, I was just looking that up actually, because I'm pretty sure he's Miami.
If it's Bobby, I think Bobby wins the division. And I'm pretty sure I think it is Bobby actually, because Nick is the Jet.
He's Jets in Legacy and Miami and
Pandora.
Pandora.
So this season, I think Bobby takes the division, which I did not expect. I thought Nick would take it, but Nick has been struggling very hard with this New York Jets team. So he's probably going to have to rebuild, get a good draft pick here, set himself up for future success. But for now, Miami, they're going to see themselves in the playoffs. I think Tennessee will make it. Houston will make it. I'm going to make a bold prediction here. I think Baltimore takes that final seed, and I think I play Baltimore in round 1. Baltimore, okay, so I'm pretty sure you know this, but Pandora now has X Factors. So they flip the switch on it. Baltimore is a really good team on paper. And he plays with Baltimore. He's also reminiscent to how Baltimore plays in real life. He runs the ball a lot with Lamar Jackson. I think Baltimore just kind of sneaks themselves in. gets that 7 seed. I love Cook. I do. I think Cook's a great player, but he's gotta tighten up on defense if he wants to change my opinion here. And I don't know how that'll work for him. He's got an easy schedule going forward, but he's gotta tighten up on defense. That's my one criticism to him, I guess. That's how you word that. Just tighten up on defense. But other than that, I think Baltimore takes that final spot.
All right, that's pretty interesting. I think I got a little bit different than you. Who's the Steelers user in Pandora again?
That's his name is Stankpit.
Ah, right. I heard him a little bit. All right, I agree with you. I think you and Jacksonville take the 1 and 2 seeds. I think that'll stay the same. I'm not sure if I predicted this. I can't really remember already, but I think Hop is gonna overtake Tennessee for the division. I think
that wouldn't make sense. Jacksonville's the leading the division.
Okay, never mind. That's not what I meant. I meant overtake. I guess it doesn't really matter.
He would pass him. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
To get a spot ahead of him.
Wow, the AFC, yep, South is strong. That's weird.
It's a weird conference.
Yeah, it's weird. But I guess I guess it doesn't really matter. Then I'll do that a little bit later. I guess I already said it, but it doesn't really matter. I'll go over the division winners first. I think Kansas City hangs on for at least the 4th seed, because I think Bobby might be able to pull out the 3rd seed, because he has 6 more games, and 3 of those games he gets to beat up on his division opponents, who are all struggling. So hopefully he wins all those. Granted, I know one of them's Nick, who's a perpetually normally good user, but like you said, struggling with the Jets. So hopefully he wins all those games, and then he's got a game against the Raiders and the Chiefs. Other than that, so if he can win either of those, I think he can overtake. Or I mean, I guess if he beats Kansas City, then he can overtake Kansas City for the 3rd seed. I think whoever wins that game, honestly, probably gets the 3rd seed, and the other one gets the 4th seed. But then for the wild cards, I think Hop gets the 5th seed. I think his schedule's just really weak. He should be able to finish out strong. And I think Tennessee has a pretty rough schedule ahead of him, so I think Tennessee gets the 6th seed, and then the 7th seed is pretty interesting. Raiders, Steelers, Ravens, Chargers. I think all of them could make it, but I think... Wait. Let me really quick look at Raiders' schedule.
It's light. It's pretty light.
Falcons, Jets, Colts, Chargers, Dolphins, Broncos. That's pretty light. Yeah, I think Las Vegas takes the last seed.
Okay.
I think Baltimore has to face too many good users ahead. He has to face the Titans, the Cowboys, Jaguars. I don't see him coming out of that gauntlet any better than 2-2 or 1-3. So, yeah, I think I have to go with Las Vegas to make it to the 7th seed.
You know what? I'll change my mind. I think Cook will make it. I kind of agree with you there.
Yeah,
I like Cook. You know, I don't know what I was thinking there. You know, I can't really go against Cook here. Especially if Cook wins this week. If he beats the Chiefs, then he's definitely going to be making it. So I mean, yeah, don't sleep on Sully either, though. He's kind of right there. I know he's 4-5, but he's kind of rusty, I would say. He hasn't been too like into it so far, but I think once he gets like a win or two, he'll start developing that groove he used to always have. So I think the Chargers are a sleeper team out of this little bunch here of 4-5 teams.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's a sleeper, but I don't think I can't see him making the playoffs over Cook. Cook's schedule is just too light. And then I was looking at the Chiefs' schedule, and I think if Cook wins this game against the Chiefs, I think he has actually a good chance of winning the division, actually. So I think actually bold prediction: Cook comes back and wins the division, and the Chiefs are the 7th seed.
Really?
Because I don't think the Chiefs are, maybe not the 7th seed, but one of the wild cards. I don't think the seeding matters too much, but yeah, I mean the Chiefs' schedule isn't too hard either, but it's definitely harder than the Raiders.
I think it all is just going to depend on how that game this week plays out. Whoever wins that game, I think it'll tell a different story. Because if Las Vegas wins that game, it's anything goes. But I think if Kansas City wins, they'll probably edge it out. That's what I see happening, especially having a 2-win advantage over the Raiders. The Raiders would have to. They would not only have to basically maybe not win out, but they would have to win a vast majority of the remaining schedule they have. They would have to beat the Chiefs by a game to win the division if the Kansas City Chiefs win. So I think if the Raiders win here, then it's anything goes.
There's a lot of just crucial matchups down the stretch in these for the AFC playoff race. So that'll be a lot of fun to watch. Make sure you tune into all these games. Just all these matchups between all these 4-5 to 6-3 teams are gonna be.
It's a fun race.
Yeah, really fun to watch. I think everyone's biting at the bit. Is that how you say it? Biting at the.
They're biting their nails. It's a nail biter type of thing. Is that what you're trying to get at?
No, it doesn't matter, man. What?
It was good.
Everyone's eager to get their games in, and everyone really wants to make the playoffs. I think it's gonna be a tight race all the way down to the finish.
Well,
all right. I think that's where we're gonna wrap it up. Let us know what you guys think, and we'll catch you next time. See you later.
See ya.